Okay, don't mind my hair. There's this show that's out that's called Absolute Value of Romance. Now, the original plot is very different from what I'm talking about now. So I think the plot has kind of transitioned to a slightly different vibe, which sometimes K-dramas do, whatever. It's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, this girl, I'm trying to think how to explain because I don't have the most context, but from what I'm seeing, she might like her teacher, that's not weird in itself because she's like 18, 19, whatever. Her teacher's, I don't know how much older than her, not like an obscene amount, but he's definitely older, right? And he's also her teacher, so that's a whole separate thing. She might have a crush on him. I don't know. All I know is one of the tags in the show when I was looking it up online was student teacher relationship, and I was like a mentorship or like not, because even if they met later in life when like she was older and like a full adult, it's still weird. It's never not gonna be weird because it's like at one point he is the adult, the more adult in the relationship. There's also, like I said, maybe I didn't say this, there's a crazy power imbalance. Like, you can't, oh my gosh, it pisses me off when shows do this, and they'll just put it in the plot and no one's like, hey, this is weird. Because the thing is, like I said, even if they met later, even if they met 10 years later, she's in her almost 30, he's however old he's supposed to be. I don't think he's probably not supposed to be that much older than her. But it doesn't age, the age matters, but it also doesn't, because in the end, it's just a weird dynamic to put two characters in and to have them have a relationship. And again, I don't know if the show is actually 100% doing that plot or if they're just suggesting it, but I've seen some clips. Like when the show initially came out, I was like, guys, that is not what the plot is. Girlie does not like her teacher. He does not like her. That is like not the plot. But as the show has gone on, now it's starting to seem like that might not be such a crazy, like, thought process about the show. So I don't know. We'll have to see if once it's all done airing. I mean, I'm not going to watch it because the plot, for what the original plot was, I was like, I just wasn't really interested. And then add on top of that, now that there's that part of it, I'm even interested even less because I hate relationships like that. In what world are we ever needing to have a student-teacher relationship? It's not a necessary plot point. And I will also say this, when a character is in college and they have a crush on their professor who's like a good chunk older, I also think that's weird. I don't think it's a necessary plot, and it's the fact that it gets added into shows and not talked about. Like, okay, Pretty Little Liars, a great example. That is the most disturbing relationship that is then used through the rest of the plot between Ezra and Arya. It's so weird. So weird. Because even when this man finds out that she is his student and is like 16 or 17, he's like, ugh, I want you. You freak. You perv. You actual legitimate pedophile. Like, oh my gosh. And it's the fact that it's romanticized and it's like, oh my gosh, he wants me. Anyways, that show's crazy. I mean, I think that show's just unhinged in general, but they put some crazy plots in that show where it was just like, what are we doing? But anyways, I don't like that type of relationship in any context. That's why that movie also, I'm just on all these weird age gap movies, but in shows. That movie that came out with Jenna Ortega and that one actor, he's in Sherlock, I can't remember his name. That made me lose so much respect for him. Not as much for Jenna, because I was like, well, I don't know, she's like young and not really in her career at this point, I feel like. And maybe that's just an excuse that I'm giving her. But I feel like him as being the older person in the show and in real life, I think it's weird that he said yes to that. I know she's legal. She's like 24, 25, I think at this point. Or maybe she's not that old. But she's an adult. Like, she's in her 20s. Even if it's early 20s. But either way, she's old enough, right? But at the same time, she's also not old enough. Because in that movie, it's a student and a professor relationship. And it's really freaking weird. It's so weird, guys. It's so yucky. Because he's like literally got like gray hair. He looks old. And I'm like, it's one thing to write that plot, right? It's one thing to do it. It's another thing to say yes to the plot. Hey, bro, so we're gonna basically have you in a movie where you make out with like a 23-year-old. How do you feel about that? Oh man, that's the perfect role for me. It's weird. You're like 50. He's actually might be older than that. He could literally be her dad. And it's like, it's uncomfortable to me that he said yes to that movie. And it's also uncomfortable. I think it's weird that she said yes to. I think she should have been like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's a little strange. And I really can't imagine that it got a lot of good reviews because it was just really weird. I think it was also just a weird movie. It was like a weird, like, I don't even know, like suspense, like she's trying to like take advantage of him and it's all this, but it's always putting the power of it on the woman to be like, oh my gosh, she's seducing him. But it's like, bro, it's still weird. He's being seduced. So I think that that's more disturbing than anything else, that he's allowing his freaking student, who by the way, in the movie, I think their age gap is even more, because if she's a college student, she's got to be anywhere from like 18 to like 2021. So it's like she's even younger, I think, in the movie itself. Anyways, oh my gosh, when that movie came out and I was seeing press for it pissed me off so bad, because I was like, this is so gross and this is so weird, and why are we still making movies and plots like this? It's like that one movie that's based on that one book, how do you say it, Lolita, I think, however you pronounce it. But it's like the same vibe of like but even worse, because this girl's like 14 and the actor that's in the movie is like, he's so old. He's such a grown man. Like it's literally a pedophile movie, and it's like talked about all the time. And I'm like, how do you approach a situation like that where you're like, hey, we want you to play a guy that's attracted to your 14, this 14-year-old girl, or however old she's supposed to be. She's young. And then they cast the girl. Okay, so he wants you. He's like basically a pervert and a pedophile, but he wants you. And you said yes? Just don't understand actors, bro. Why in the world would you be in such a controversial movie? Why would you be like, this is the movie that I want to be in? Anyways, I just think it's so weird. I think it's so weird. Also, I'm just like, I can't help but think the person that created that story, I'm like, why did you think that was a story that needed to be written? Why did you think that that was a story that needed to be told? And maybe, listen, I haven't read the book. Maybe there's some great message behind it, some great story behind it. I imagine they're not glorifying the fact that this man is a pedophile. I hope, but I don't know. And I've never read the book, and frankly, I won't. And I've never watched the movie, and I won't, because it's creepy and it's weird, and I don't like it. Anyways, okay, so I'm actually going to talk about some K-dramas that I've been watching. I just got on such a weird side rant about pedophiles. Anyways, so... okay, there's this show I'm watching. Tomorrow's the last episode. Honestly, thank God, I'm so done with this show. I'm so done with it. So it's called Perfect Crown. I've talked about it a few times. Almost that last review. Almost that last episode review. This is my opinion. This show is good. I like this show. I think it has good acting. I think the story's fun. I think it's romantic. I think they have good chemistry. Okay, that's my first thought. Second thought, this show could have been probably better. I don't really have any major complaints about the show. I mean, for the beginning, when I was first watching it. Also, I am wearing shorts. I feel as though I should acknowledge that I'm not pantsless over here. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, basically, I think that some things could be better and they could change some things, but overall, I don't really have any major complaints with the plot. I remember what I was gonna say. The major issue that I had with the show when it first started was I guess technically the second female lead, I guess she's a main character. I couldn't stand her. Not because she had anything really to do with the main lead in like a romantic sense necessarily, but just her character was just really annoying. Very annoying, very full of it, entitled, elitist, just like, oh my gosh, the most annoying person you've ever met. And also, I low-key thought she was kind of a bad mom. I just didn't like the way she treated her son. I honestly, in that show, aside from like 2 or 3 characters, I didn't like how anyone treated the little boy in the plot, because I was like, Guys, he's 8. Guys, that's literally, he's 8. He can't be king. He's literally 8. This has to do with, like, royalty and stuff, too. I'm not gonna try to, I don't want to explain the plot. It's too much work. But anyways, basically all you need to know is there's some really annoying characters. Second male lead. Oh my gosh. Nothing could make me like him less if, like, I literally could not like him any less if I tried. He is so annoying. He is such a pick-me. He's so whiny. I don't freaking care that you liked the female lead 10 years ago and then waited 10 years until she was getting married and then decided to be an absolute menace. For what? She's not gonna pick you, babe. She's not picking you. Even if she divorced her husband, even if her husband died, even if they weren't married, she wouldn't pick you because she didn't pick you 10 years ago. Anyways, he's so annoying. He's universally disliked. No one likes him. Like, initially it was like, okay, you know, maybe he'll have, like, he's gonna be the second lead, but, like, maybe he'll have redemption, and he seemed really nice, but as the plot went on, you were like, dang, he's kind of just annoying. Like, he just kept annoying me and kept being so obnoxious, and I was just like, oh my gosh, bro, I don't care. And it then got to the point where he basically, like, teamed up with the actual bad guy, and it was like, bro, what are you doing? And I don't know, he's so rude to the Crown Prince, who's the main character, the main male lead. And I'm like, I'm not into this. Also, I'm kind of over the main male lead. I love him. Like, I love him. But he kind of... sometimes it feels like he gets trampled on a little too much. And it's like he lets stuff slide a little too much. And it's like, hey, bro, when you confronted that one character that was really hot and sexy, but also really, like, satisfying because you actually, like, defended yourself. But then you just let everyone else bully you. And it's just, I don't know. It gets annoying. I like the character, though. I mean, I do really like him. I just wish that he'd stand up for himself a little bit more. I like the female lead. You did a great job. I think Byun Woo-shik, who plays Woo-shik Sok-jun. I think it's Sok. Woo-sok. That sounds wrong. Sometimes I wish I just knew how to say certain words in Korean so badly, because I'm like, I just want to say the actors' names correctly, but sometimes I just feel, I hear myself saying them, and I'm like, hey. I could not butcher that anymore if I tried. Anyways, that's the actor who plays the main guy. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, I like both of them. I don't have any issue with them. Some people are like, well, you didn't give me shut up. Just, like, genuinely shut up. You just don't like the show because everyone else likes it and it's popular. I will say, though, this plot is kind of sucky towards the end. Like, it's a little bit like, okay, we're over. Well, I'm kind of over it. I also just, like, everyone was so pissed off at the last episode because they're like, oh my gosh, he went through all that work to reveal that, like, his older brother had actually wanted him to be king and not his nephew and all this blah, 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 whatever. Everyone was whining about it. And then when I actually watched when I, like, finished the episode, I was like, I don't freaking care if he's not king. I think it's stupid that the plot itself went through this whole long thing of it being a big reveal that when it was, like, found out that he was supposed to be the king, not his nephew. But it's like, I don't personally care if he's not the king because I think he can't even live as the king. He has so many rules. There's so many restrictions. He can't freaking do anything, and neither can his wife. So I'm like, I don't think it's crazy that he's like, I don't really want to be a king anymore. However, it does feel very stupid for the plot, because it's like, okay, well, why'd you guys do all that freaking crap then if you were just going to have him be like, yeah, I'm just going to abolish the monarchy? Like, okay. Whatever. I really don't care. I don't care. I'm like, I don't care how this plot ends as long as my main couple's together. I just really don't care. I'm like, as long as everyone's, like, for the most part, okay, whatever. What else am I watching? I watched the last episode, oh my gosh, excuse me, of this, like, samurai show called Last Samurai Standing. And I'm kind of assuming it's going to end on a cliffhanger because there's a season 2 coming, but the plot is not going to be wrapped up in the season and episode that I'm left in. I have, like, a half an hour left. It's almost done. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen with that show. Oh! Okay, I wanted to talk about this show, this next one, so bad because it's crazy how I watched 2 episodes and I was so irritated. So it's this very short drama called Azure Springs. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to say that word. It's so embarrassing. Anyways, it's whatever. Or not spring. And it's about this girl who, okay, so I'm trying to think, because there's literally only been 2 episodes and there's only 6 episodes. Like, it's a short show and the episodes are like a half hour. So that it's like basically a web drama where it's just like very short. But basically this girl was a swimmer, and then she had a shoulder injury, and had surgery, and then I guess was struggling to like swim again. So she had this whole like identity crisis essentially, and she just like kind of up and left. And also, okay, this part I think is so weird, and I think it's so strange they put in this plot. So her boyfriend, because she has a boyfriend in the beginning of the show, he was her coach. Okay, so he was her coach for 9 years, and then he was her boyfriend for 3. So I'm like, so after 6 years of him being your coach, he was like, you want to date? And I was like, ew. Like, they're close in age, clearly. They're not like, he's not like old, but like, I don't know. I just thought that was weird. So I'm like, hey girl, break up with your boyfriend. Also, he sucks. We don't like her boyfriend, whatever. So she goes back to her hometown and basically is just like, I'm gonna bum it out here. Like, I'm just gonna not do anything. Well, she forgot that when she was in, because she was in, I think, Seoul, but she's from this like little like seaside town. So when she was in Seoul, she got a call from someone, like one of her neighbors, who was like, oh, someone wants to rent out your like house, like, is that okay? And she was like, yeah, it's fine, I don't care. So when she goes back, that person still lives there, that tenant does, obviously. And so she has kind of initially a bad interaction with him, and then they get off on the wrong foot. It's a whole thing. He's super hot and sexy, and whatever. Oh my gosh, what a pain. Oh no, what a nightmare. He's hot and tan and beautiful. Anyways, that's separate. So obviously then they are gonna like form a friendship. I don't know if it's gonna be romantic because there's only 6 episodes. I assume it's gonna be romantic because I'm like, usually shows don't just be like, oh my gosh, these 2 people are friends. But anyways, he's a okay, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Haenyo, I think is how you say it. Something like that. It's basically like a diver, like a very specific kind of diver in like Korea. But he basically had left his life or whatever he was doing like 3 years ago, and then came and basically became this like diver essentially. And so she at one point in the plot is like needing something to like live for and prove that she can like just exist and do something, and that she's worth it, because she kind of feels worthless because of her whole swimming debacle. She's like, can you teach me how to swim? Well, she doesn't really ask. She kind of just demands him to. And this is my issue with her character. Okay, so how can you have 2 episodes and I kind of can't stand the female lead? I have mixed feelings. So it's Yeri from Red Velvet. She, I think, has acted before. She's not a bad actress, but she's not great. Also, the lines they're giving her, the script she has, it's very basic, it's very boring, it's very, honestly does not paint her in a good light. Like, she literally eats this guy's food, which I thought was so weird. She's like, it looks like you just left it in the fridge, so I just ate it because you were gonna throw it away. And he's like, if I was gonna throw it away, I would have put it in the trash. Like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that scene, I cannot tell you how much that pissed me off. I was like, hey girl, what the heck is wrong with you? Why would you eat someone else's food? So I thought that was really weird. And then she was like really like whiny and demanding and like bratty towards him, and she kept calling him a punk. And I was like, hey girl, you've had 2 conversations with him. He rightfully called you out for eating your food, and also kind of called you out for just like being a bum, and like, because that's not what he said, but he basically was like, are you gonna stay here or are you gonna leave? He's like, because some people like to come here and then just like feel sorry for themselves, i.e. what she was doing. So it's just like she does apologize in the 2nd episode where she's like, hey, I'm sorry, like I was like, upset at you. She's like, I was just already whatever, feeling really insecure, whatever. They have a cute little heart-to-heart moment. It's fine, whatever. Her personality has improved. But I just thought it was so strange that the like first indication that they had her act in was like this weird, entitled, like bratty attitude that just did not make sense, and was like, girl, you are getting upset about nothing right now. Like, you are blaming this man for things that is not his fault, and he's just casually existing, and you're like eating his food. I thought that part was so weird. Also, this is also just so strange. There's a couple scenes with some cats, which is normal. There's a lot of K-dramas, there's just cats wandering around. They put these freaky animated AI cats in the plot, and I'm telling you, it makes so little sense that they couldn't get real cats. I'm like, I've seen so many K-dramas with cats. I cannot imagine it's that hard to get a couple cats to have them run around. I'm like, was your budget that low? I just thought that was so weird. And that's what a lot of comments were talking about too. They're like, why are the cats fake? Why are they animated? It's so weird. anyways, so that otherwise I'm enjoying the vibe now that her attitude has improved. Now she's likable, but I have mixed feelings about Yuri's acting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, hey, it's kind of bad. But I also just don't think the script is very good. I don't think they put a lot of effort or time into it. So I just think that's also part of the problem. But otherwise it's fine. And then I'm watching this one show. I don't know if I ever actually talked about this show, which is funny because it's so freaking weird. No, I definitely did. So it's called Strangers from Hell. It's so weird. This show, okay, when I decided to watch this show, and I feel like if I might have already said all this, but when I decided to watch it, I kind of had a very different expectation of what the plot would actually be. And I'm not gonna lie, this show is freaking boring. And I don't know if it picks up later in the second half of the show. I'm about halfway through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so bored. It's just because the show does these weird angles and these weird things. Like, it spent like, oh my gosh, the end of the 4th episode, it spent like a solid 3 to 4 minutes just in this really weird scene that like took so long to be done. I was like, I have never wanted a scene to end faster. I'm like, can we be done with this? This is so weird. It's not even like interesting. It's just strange. And I think that that's my biggest issue about the show is while it's also kind of boring, it's also weird, but not necessarily in a good way. It's like the way they filmed it and the way that certain scenes go, it's like really boring and like, I think it's mostly the reason it feels like that is because a lot of the show is from our main character's kind of point of view. Like we're watching him just interact with people and interact with the tenants at this weird boarding house and whatever, and all these people are freaks. They're all 100% like cannibals, and they're crazy and they're psychotic and murderers. Like, they're all crazy, right? But our main character, I know for a fact, has this crazy like psychotic break at one point, and like I think he's also kind of crazy, and we've seen him, we know that he's like insane as well because he has incredibly high anger issues, like cannot control it. Like, it's all inside, but he constantly is fantasizing about like when he gets mad about something or like annoyed about hurting that person. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't condone him wanting to kill those people, but good lord, the amount of people he is surrounded with that are so annoying, I'm like, girl, I get it. I would be losing my mind too, being annoyed. Now, I wouldn't try to kill anyone, not like that, but like I would get why he would kind of want to snap every once in a while and just be like, oh my gosh, shut up, you're so annoying. Because the people that he's around are like the most insufferable, especially his his coworkers. They're some of the most insufferable people, like his boss too. Oh my gosh, shut up. Anyways, I don't know, it's weird. I'll still finish it because it's so stupid. I went on Apple TV and then had to buy a separate subscription to this other random thing to watch the show, and I'm like, that's so dumb. Like, genuinely stupid. Anyways, so there's that one, and then obviously I'm still watching We're All Trying Here. I'm still trying to finish that one. The last episode I watched was really cute. And then I have Filing for Love, which of course I still love. I really like that show. I'm really vibing with it, and it's been so good. And then I think that might be it for my K-dramas right now, because I don't think I have any other ones, because I'm almost done. Like I said, I'm almost done with Perfect Crown. I have 1 episode left tomorrow. I have 1 episode left of the Samurai Show until the next season comes out, which I don't know when that's happening. I don't know what's coming out. And then I'm about halfway through like 3 shows, and then the one show that's like 6 episodes. I'm not halfway through yet, but like it's such a short show, it's not gonna take me a long time to watch. And then Strangers from Hell, I'm halfway through. So I'm like at the same point between like half and a little over halfway through each of my shows. So I'm doing pretty good, but sorry, I was just zoning out so badly. I need to go to bed. Anyways, that's all I've got to say. Thank you so much. Night night.